Hello everybody, today I want to discuss um, CV build or different ways how to build a CV and parameters of such things to submit to employers and how to structure them, how to build them, how to make them stand out, and possibly, if it makes any sense, even to make that, and other things which may help you to land not only the job but also some sort of work engagement. Ideally, if you don't want to work on normal way of 40 hours a week or something like that, but you want something like to be as a freelancer or something else. Now, what you look in front of you is basically one of the design I've tried to build a few years ago, which I thought gonna be quite interesting for like job hunters and not only job hunters but also for people who kind of hunt new candidates. So it will be sort of new way how to present yourself as a candidate, as a job candidate, and I structured this into like 4 different core categories. What I wanted to show is basically a neat graphical method how to explain what are your main advantages or main basically characteristic as a candidate, and how could you basically be really readable as a candidate, so you are like very fastly recognized as a as a prospective candidate. So I put it in 4 categories. I created a category which is called hard skilled. This category is supposed to explain hard skills such as programming in different languages. Namely, if you're IT inclined person, I'm not gonna be aiming particularly at IT people, because they have their own specific set of problems and they will go through many tests, but I will be mainly targeting manufacturing people who want to work in manufacturing. That means like factories, plants, etc., and people who want to work on some sort of field service engineering, which is my niche, my background, and I'm quite confident I can basically present a way how to get the job in such a field. Okay, so as an example, the hard skill could be programming. It can be also crimping. It can be wiring a cabinet. It can be sewing something. It can be cutting with a grinder, which is actually recognized in UK. So I think it is abrasive, so there could be even like certificate abrasive tools. And these are basically I would say hard skills, that's what it says. So this is when you're gonna release them and make them stand out. Okay, so people get a good idea about what you can do with your hands, with your mind, with your basically on a day-to-day basis. Then I think that these competencies is the next category. In competencies, I would put things like how you deal with practical technical challenges, okay, that you're able to plan in advance, that you're able to basically, for example, plan a specific set of steps in order to maintain machinery or something. Okay, be competency. Also, with the expanding on the first step, plan a set of steps in order to build or form or perform an installation of a new machinery, okay, or some sort of space, like manufacturing space, which needs to be built. So what sort of step needs to be taken, okay. Sometimes these sentences can be shortened to make them look as a one-word thing, but I don't think it's really possible. So you will end up with some sort of sentences like this. Okay, so this is like a competency thing. Okay, soft skilled, liaising with your colleagues, you know, friendly but respectful. Okay, be able to lead, you know, etc. So these could be some sort of, I would say skills which makes you able to communicate under pressure, keep posture during hard talks, etc., etc. Things which I would list, which people takes as something automatic, but they doesn't need to be. Okay, HR person might basically listen to that, you know, and some sort of like headhunters, they may put this as something which is extra. Okay, they think it's automatically there, but if you list it, it's not bad, because somebody actually may recognize that you took an extra step to show that this is something that you want to show, that you are really okay also in this field, and you are like sort of able to find your way. Okay, I would say that the language is some part of it. Doesn't have to be necessarily language, but yeah, able to communicate basically in foreign environments. Okay, whatever that means. Okay, it doesn't have to be necessarily the language knowledge. It could be something else. Okay, so this is this category, and then obviously the last category, which I just put the reliable, where I would list basically my achievements which are recognized by the external sources. That means like companies I worked for. Okay, achievements I've done at work, at customer premises. Okay, I've dealt with some situations. Obviously you have to respect their know-how and NDA and other things, so you have to like sort of dwell into it in a way that you sort of like find the middle ground, you know. But I would definitely list it, and I think it's quite important because it can put you on the top spot, because you name specific things which no other candidate might have. Okay, that means specific companies, exposure to specific technologies, to specific people even, or to specific environments, you know, etc., etc. It really depends with what sort of I would say headhunter or the middle person you're dealing with, or the direct company, you know. But this would be okay. I was a part of a team which was testing parts for Airbus A380, which is a true statement for me. I never worked on Airbus A380 though. Previously my colleagues did in one of my roles. I worked on some parts from Yak Plane, which is owned by Chinese, and I may list that. I have worked on BMW bike prototype for TV Dresden, for example. Okay. I did like strain gauge sensors on that bike. I basically had to build a prototype as a technician. Okay. So obviously to list balance between your achievements, your, I would say, proven KPIs, but these would be more like a quality type of things. That means like I would stay out of quantitative things, if you know what I mean. That means like I wouldn't like list I did 8 out of 10. I did 8 out of 10 tasks ordered or something like that. I would rather see I did tasks for superior from, let's say, Alstom customer or Liebherr Aerospace. Okay, which might look quite more interesting, because what is Liebherr Aerospace? Well, it's a company who deal with like space modules and space shuttles and stuff, so this I would put in this category. So this was my concept. I tried to send it to few HR consultants and people. They were not really happy with that, so I dropped it out. I kind of like forgot about it, but I thought it might be quite a thing to show it, what I've done some time ago, because it looks quite neat. It's easy to navigate. Obviously, it would expand further, which means let me put it in the middle. Maybe it's possible. No, so okay. And then you would place like tab here, tab here, tab here, tab here, which would further expand on these categories. Okay, when you can name those things, and it would create such like a flower pattern, if you know what I mean, a flower template, and it would look like a map, and it would be your character map, your core skill set, and it would be expand further and further, and it might look quite good. I would say presentable, and might stand out. I don't know. I can send you the template if you want. It will be for download. I don't even actually know if this is just JPEG or if it's actually PNG. You're free to copy it and to do it in the very same way. So you may try it out. Thank you.